We're just saying, oh, could we wait any longer?
Sorry for.
Did you get a copy of the agenda?
You didn't miss anything.
We're just starting.
We're just about to get started with that.
Charlotte, are there still readers in the selectman's office somewhere?
Possibly. I'll go ask. Tony might have them in use though. Because he's
Yeah,
forgetting
that's
his.
true. They're very stylish.
I know, they
I
are.
hope they're available for you.
Need red pen.
There's two variants to choose from. I don't know how well they are. Depends on what you need for, these ones are the Coke bottle ones and.
Wear those so we can see. Your eyes will roll.
I did wear these before, but I got quite.
Quite the headache.
That could be definitely. I'd like to say, I can see your neurons. Those are. Well, since we're here now, thank you all for coming. I'm just gonna, since it's live, we're gonna make an announcement of it starting at 6:36. And we can use that for our official time.
So we're live now.
We're live. You can color commentate for us. This is great. We
My fans have been waiting for
we
this.
have our custom of starting with the pledge, so let's stand and do our pledge. Allegiance. You're closest to us, so lead us on.
Pledge allegiance
To the
flag of the United States of America and
To the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all so much. In front of you, we have our minutes. You've had an opportunity to review. We'll take a moment here if anyone has some reflection, questions, anything to.
What was American Legion? Just curious.
To
Flags.
do a matching grant for flags with the Cole Museum. They did get approved, but they're on standby because they ran out of funds, so they will get them eventually.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool. And how do you do the parks? Car wash, good. I wouldn't remember if it did happen and it wasn't written down.
It's the benefit of a senior moment. Jake, do you have any questions, comments, feedback?
Nope.
Anything for us? No? Okay. Our black hat Jake, any questions?
Black Hat Jake has no questions
Gotta
at
go
this
with-
time.
Tan and black hat. Okay, you're good.
Good evening, Jake. I'm Scott.
Yeah, Jake, nice to meet you.
We'll do some intros. Well,
I think he's got the better name.
What?
any other thoughts,
No, but
questions? You're comfortable?
No.
Okay, well, anyone, we'll go ahead and just, I don't think we need
You
any other
do-
discussion,
you
but
just
is
have
there
to
any
do-
discussion for? It
No,
looks
just
like the
thank you,
note.
everybody, for allowing me to be away those 2 times. I was dealing with that last one, so he's good, but he's still in a lot of pain. It looked like somebody lost their erector set in his back.
That's
Pretty
painful.
gross. Yeah, fusion, like eight
That's an image.
vertebrae, starts at the crack of his butt and comes up about midway up his back. 2 rods in his hips, and then 2 rods going straight up with screws like this long, all the
No,
way down through, and then new discs in between.
Well, I mean, there.
He's walking with a,
Bionic.
he's walking with a walker, I guess.
yeah,
And I'm trying to get him to, he's only 3 weeks, right? 3 weeks?
Yeah.
Almost a month?
Yeah, because we lost the last meeting, we have, a month from
It
today.
was this, like. the
He was
second
getting ready to have
or whatever.
surgery.
It was right before his birthday, so he's 79.
and he's just up and walking on his own.
He is, but with a walker,
It's,
Yeah.
it's a miracle.
but he's doing so much. I was like, we told you it's gonna be that way. I'm gonna say, but thank you guys for,
Of course.
yeah. Yeah, we were making sure he didn't have a stroke or anything like that. This,
My gosh.
pretty nasty.
Wow.
So we'll see, hopefully now, another month, he'll be with canes or something, and it's pretty gross.
It's a medical.
No, I walk every day trying so hard to fight what's happening to him. When you plant corn, you get corn, so just remember that, you youngins.
Wow.
If your parents had it, you're gonna have it too.
Yeah.
You can fight it all you want, but the old man will come. You know, just try hard not to let him in. Oh.
That's wisdom. Well, with that, we'll just take to a vote. If there's no discussion, all in favor of accepting minutes as presented?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
That looks good. I think we got our eyes. Any nays? I don't think so. So those are approved, accepted. And let's go ahead back up then. We'll get up to I just want to get that little bit of housekeeping out of the way. Let's just go up to our TIP updates and Charlene, would you like to share any, or should I just give a quick update and you?
I mean,
Anything you want?
I think we could just do a quick overview of the call that we had with the state and how the TIF is gonna what we have to do going forward. I mean, one of the new things is, the TIF as it sits right now, you can't renew the TIF, you have to write a new TIF. The one thing that came to our attention that we weren't aware of, that no one had taken advantage of, is that there's been several statutes in place that we could amend the current TIF before the end of it to be able to take advantage of a few options. One, there's 2 things that are big. 50% of the TIF allocation can be used for municipal properties, and then 25% can be used for emergency services. So it doesn't have to be structure for emergency services, it can be operations as well, which could eventually, help us with the ambulance situation that's going on forward there. So priority right now would be that we would have to first work on getting the amendment to include all the new statutes that are not included in the 2016 revision that was done, so that we can capture that. The funding sitting there doesn't have to be spent out by the end of the TIF. It's a 3-year window that you can allocate and utilize those funds. So all this emergency, using up the monies and getting it posted and making sure that we spend it before the end of this TIF expires, it's not necessary. You have 3 years to,
They've opened that up.
yeah. So, and we did not know that.
Services and facilities.
Yeah, services and facilities. Now, you can renew the TIF if you choose to go for, there is one way you can renew the TIF if you're going to utilize 75% of the funds have to be for affordable housing and transient housing. So those are 2 things that really don't want to open up in the current district. It's not really a best practices place for those two things. So the best thing would be is to amend this TIF, follow through with that, and making sure we're expending and being able to look at options of the other options that are going to be available in that amendment. And then we don't have to be audited until the end of the 3 years either. So you can't be audited until you've completely exhausted the funds and don't have to pay them back. So the next step would be is to work on the amendment application, the process, and look into how that's going to apply out. And then also a subcommittee to look at writing a new TIF district. Now you can encompass the current TIF district as starting, but you won't be able to tax the new structures that have been taxed in this TIF program. So you could make new, whether or not we want to encompass what's already here, if there's enough room for more growth in the district that's already applied, or do we look at a new district that kind of goes somewhere else, outside that circle? Or maybe you've got, like, say, the grocery store decides to expand, well, that would be a portion of that would be TIF taxable. So you may want to encompass the current TIF district and then grow it. But it does have to be a different location or add to the current district in order to qualify. With that, it should work in hand with a comprehensive plan. So we're looking at developing a comprehensive plan committee, hoping that people in this group would help head up that and these subcommittees and work with more people to reach out and get more people involved, so that when we do the TIF district, if we look at the comprehensive plan, that we can merge them together so that we know that where the citizens want the community to be. Do we want to stay residential? Do we want to have more amenities? Do we want to grow business district? Things like that. Like, what do the citizens want? And then over the course of the next 30 or 40 years, the last comprehensive plan was, I hate to say this, 1996, which is well outdated. There was a 2015, they were working towards doing it. Never got completed. I found a file on it. It has 3 pages in it. So I'm going to dig more, see if there's more information to see where that committee was. Unfortunately, most of the people that were on that committee are no longer with us. Because Clem was on there and Mr. Kenny.
I was there
Right,
in the beginning of it,
right.
but I left.
Yeah, and then
before.
Mr. Kenny was on it, but he's no longer able to work on it. So we got to do some research and rebuild and try to see how we want the TIF district to follow the comprehensive plan and work together for the whole community. So it's kind of like a 3-pronged, don't want to say mess project. And hopefully some of you can kind of step in and kind of spearhead some of those committees and research and so on and so forth.
Does anyone do you have an idea of how we can get the community's opinion?
So one of the things that most people do when we do a comprehensive plan is you do like surveys. So you do mass mailing surveys, which we can budget for. You can do several public meetings where people come and voice their opinions and, make up things, they state what they want. I think there was a couple of those the last time in 2015. Tony, I believe, said they had some meetings at the fire station where people could come and voice what they were looking for, what they want to see. Do we want to see something that's going to benefit and make everything more inclusive so people who are living here don't have to leave the community? Or do we want more drawing in of business? Do we want more residential space, more affordable housing options, those kinds of things? I mean, we are at a crossroads. It's a great opportunity for this community to make this a residential community and then obviously increase the amenities and the businesses to support the residential space.
Yeah, just need to know language on a survey or whatever. What people
Right,
want.
and that's kind of like what we'll have to, when we form the comprehensive plan group, you'll meet, you'll create a survey, you'll
Yeah.
set up meetings, draw more committee members in, have the Board of Selectmen appoint a committee for the comprehensive
I mean, I
plan.
would think you'd want at least 30 or 40% of your people to report back in order to get a feel for what people really
Right.
want. But if they're silent, that's on them.
Right, and I mean, I have done drop mail surveys for comprehensive plan and for other projects to get, you can also do straw poll. Straw polls are like held at your annual town meeting. You just have a list of
Mhm.
questions and get a bunch of feedback. Like, does the town vote to consider
Right.
this option, that
Those
option?
aren't even really well attended. It's the
No, it's the
same
same group.
60 to 80.
So drop survey, public hearing meetings, do a public appreciation barbecue or something, get people there with
Yeah,
food and then see what their
Actually,
ideas
it's
are.
not a- That's not a bad idea.
Donuts and coffee.
Donuts and coffee.
Sunday, or,
Yep.
whatever, morning.
Yep.
Late morning.
Town meeting, chicken barbecue.
Have it at the winery. Buy the food truck.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think it would take several
different,
opportunities.
yes,
have-
to get a good.
To get a good number of
Yeah.
people.
But with the survey, if you drafted the survey, got it approved by the select board of what questions need to be in there,
Yeah.
and then talk about, we can put it out at the front desk, because I mean, the majority of everybody at some point comes into this office once a year, at least once a year, you know, for vehicle registration, tax payment, whatever. Not all, but most, the majority.
Yeah.
Do a mass mail, just a drop mail by zip code, by areas. It will pretty much canvas the majority of the town when you do a drop mail. It's a certain, you have to do a certain sizing and everything, but you could put that survey into that one page. Or
Social
if
media is easy too.
social media, or you could, if you drafted the survey in time for taxation, we could put the copy of the survey in the tax bills for 2026. I don't think we have time to do anything for 25, but that's another option. So if we put a timeline in place of when we want certain things to happen, we can utilize the what we have for programs here, social media, website, so on and so forth. We're working now with the town attorney to get a Facebook page, because in the past it's been told that we can't have one for liability issues. So we're working on figuring out a way, because today, in today's world, most people use social media to communicate. And if you're a town or a municipality, you want a plug there. If they follow the town page, at least they're going to get the updates. If there's been an update to the website, there's been posting of emergency road closures and things like that, and surveys, access to surveys. We could do a link with SurveyMonkey or something like that, that would be able to draw in more data to you know, make.
More real time.
Yes. And we do have someone, actually, we've coordinated with KV Cog for the comprehensive plan. They are willing to, because we have our member there, so we actually have someone that is going to give us the layout, the schedule, how to do it, what we need to do, and work with us to do the comprehensive plan. So that certainly helped. I think the first meeting is June.
Mhm.
Middle of June, we're going to have a conference call with KV Cog to see what our expectations is and how we need to lay out the committee and so on and so forth for that. But I think today what we need is volunteers that want to help work on the amendment application to the state, you know, do some research, start writing. And another group that wants to start highlighting what we need to do and start looking for what we need to do for the new application, like the basic timeline and stuff like that.
And we're facilitating the tools, the resources, what we need, but we've got to make sure that, like you said, there's enough people giving feedback and contributions. We can draft, we can start, we can support, we can facilitate all the pieces, moving parts,
Feedback is.
but making sure people are, you know, either being stirred up, coming up with their own thoughts, ideas, things, just the outreach is going to be the more important part. So that's really what we want. Reinforcements. That'd be really helpful.
What's the social media concern?
Oh,
Other towns do it, police
Other
departments
towns have
do
done
it.
it. We had a decision before I came a few years back or what have you, that it wasn't recommended for towns to have a social media page due to liability issues, primarily because of the comments and people talking back and forth, but you can shut comments off and things like that.
Not the feedback for us.
It was the
Well,
feedback.
but the thing of it
It's
is,
not that we're publishing.
the
we're
thing of it
meeting
is,
tomorrow night.
the thing of it
That's
is
Feedback.
with social media, unfortunately, people create negative comments on postings and stuff. So the feedback would come
There
in
is comedy
private
club in there.
message. Yeah, there is. Private message comes to the administration office and they can forward that on to those people. We can publish an actual survey to be filled out on that page and stuff like that. But the biggest thing is that it's an information blast. That's all we're really looking to have in that. Our primary support is the website, and that, you know, we push people to the website to find the literature and the documents and stuff. But I think there's a breakdown between people knowing about the website and all the different outlets that we now have, that we have a YouTube channel, we have the website that's, you know, interactive and so on and so forth. So
It's the color commentators that are adding their creative expression.
their spin on
I can't throw
things.
stones.
It's good.
Keyboard warriors, yes, that's what I call them.
Website, by the way, is great compared to what it was 2 years ago. Done a phenomenal job of that.
Thank you. We partnered with a company that Brianna and I had worked that helped bring that company into the state of Maine. Back when we worked for the town of St. Albans, we were the first town that took Town Cloud and had supported them, and they used us as advertising. When they've called us, we're like, immediately, what can you do for us? We already know the plan. The old program is cumbersome. It's hard to move around. It's very clunky. And they helped us get online, and now they like this layout better. They use our site to reach out to other towns as showing how the website can work for them. So they use us as a demonstration page when people want to look at a live page. That speaks mountains that we have it. It's nice, clean, easy to access. And we do have the RSS feed that we're working on, so that if you download the RSS feed on your cell phone, every time something gets updated on the page, you'll get a notification to check out the page, and then you'll know when an agenda is posted, a new update to the news page, all of that stuff. So we're trying to integrate all of that. But a lot of people aren't techy enough to use the RSS. I didn't even know what it was. So
I was always smiling. I thought, didn't you want to update those at 2 a.m? Is that when you
Yeah.
first was that?
I think that's half the battle.
Mhm.
It's tech is, I get so many notifications for everything, and that's.
you just get
People are
overwhelmed.
just
Yeah.
sick, like, and you just go numb to it. Like, you know, what house on fire? I don't care.
Got people calling my landline because I haven't answered my cell phone in the last 5 minutes. It's like,
Yeah.
I went to the restroom or went to the garden. Come on.
I don't want to talk.
Right.
That's usually the big one.
So volunteers, who wants to do what?
What was the question?
Who wants to start working on researching the new application for the TIF district? Or starting a subcommittee and getting some people on board for that?
Well, if you want a man inside to research the TIF,
This
I'll be
one
the
over
man.
here.
So,
Yeah.
I can reach out to EDC. I have contacts over there,
Yep.
so it can be a pretty seamless process. Are you able to share with me via email any information you have on what kind of where you're at right now? Just
Yep.
so I can kind
We're
of,
right at square one. We did have a meeting with Jessica. Is it Jessica Stubbs at
Yes,
EDC?
Chairman.
We had a conference call with her a couple weeks ago.
okay.
And we've got some kickbacks and emails, so we can forward you guys all the emails over to you. And I think that's pretty much where we're at, is on the new TIF, and as well as on the amendment. We're kind of like, okay, this is what we need to do. We need to get this, basically, we need to work on the amendment first, because that deadline is, I don't remember if she said December 31st or January 3rd. I think it's January 31st because our fiscal year ends January 31st. We have to have the amendment in and approved before that date in order to take advantage of the new statute. So what I do is I will send you a copy of the omnibus and the update from 2016, so you can review them
Okay.
and then see, maybe correlate which statutes that we have not encompassed in that update from 2016.
Okay. So you're more so looking for a regulatory overview of the application rather than just the application itself.
For the amendment, yes,
amendment,
but, and
okay.
then we have the application process for the new district. So I think the first foremost would be to work on the amendment and bring that back.
Because
To the
she
next
mentioned
meeting.
If we could get that over to her over the next, whatever it was, next few weeks or so,
Mhm.
they would look at it, they'd review, they'd give us some feedback and some other thoughts, ideas on how we could.
It might
enhance it.
bounce back and forth a
Yeah,
little
so we're
bit.
gonna, this will be over the next couple months.
Yep.
But if we get them a draft in their hands, they can start to say, oh, that looks good, have you thought of this, maybe you wanna consider that. So we can make sure that it includes the scope of as much as we think we wanna include in the amendment.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then once that's finished, then we can move over and start working on the TIF.
The
new TIF,
district, new TIF.
Gotcha.
as far as that goes, but we wanna make sure that we get the amendment done,
Mhm.
completed and approved before December,
Gotcha.
which it won't take 6 months to do,
Shouldn't
but
be
we
an
just
issue.
thought, let's get that out of the way,
Yep.
because that's the most important first deadline.
Yeah, and you
So-
can learn from that process and just
Right.
mimic a lot of
That's
it over.
So if we could do that over June, July,
Yep.
and just get that, it's like a 2-page, if we just get that submitted with their suggested approvals or changes,
Mhm.
then we can, from August forward, we could start working to the new TIF.
Okay.
And that doesn't need to be submitted until the end of the year, because this one
Right,
closes
this
in
one can,
December anyway.
this one closes. I mean, we don't have to restart the TIF immediately.
Right,
We can take our time in getting
there's
that new
not the same
application.
urgency on that.
Right. I mean, when one ends, you don't automatically start the new one. You have to do the application process. But if we reasonably can be well underway, considering what we want to do with a new TIF by the end of the year would be, a substantial feat, but I think it would be wise, and then work with a comprehensive plan.
Yeah, I'll put it this way. I would love to spend these few months just getting more engagement in the community
Mhm.
and feed, just through the end of the year. If we had that portion, because that's a substantial piece,
Mhm.
that I think is gonna take I think that's gonna be some effort.
Yeah.
So depending on how deep we can go with that and what kind of feedback we want, that'll take some few months, and that'll be worth the effort to do.
Mhm.
Yeah. That'll give us a better starting point when we start the new year with how we want to craft and develop. Your thought? I see the.
I'm just thinking I'm thinking out loud, just in my head and screaming at myself and stuff, and just how do we do that?
Mm.
I'm just thinking around here, how does word get around about anything, whatever, and honestly, it keeps coming down to social media.
It does.
Who hits, the two Unity pages get mobbed. They really do. You wanna know what's going on? Just hit Facebook and, it's, good, bad, or indifferent, it's, at least there's engagement.
Yeah.
But you can't get them to come, town meetings, God bless her, but Casey was my always town meeting, like, I don't wanna go. You live stream it for me.
We are
And
now.
She did. She live streamed and I was the one that, I was on there with her. She's like, you're the only one on here. I'm like, just hold the damn phone. But aren't I worth it? Just because you know why, it's just the way my job is and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't want to get overwhelmed at the door and then get mad because you sit at the wrong person. But I think social media for us is gonna be, have an EDC page. We want your opinion, that kind of thing. I think that's, again, good, bad, or indifferent. At least we'll get it. I know we'll get it social media wise.
Yeah.
Instagram, not so much, but Facebook, this town seems to really like Facebook, so good.
A couple of meet and greets,
Yes, I think that's smart. I'd be willing, if you wanted to do something here, you were just kidding about a barbecue
No,
here or
but maybe
whatever.
it'd be a good
I'll freaking
idea.
cook.
I think
I would
that's
do
something like
barbecue
that,
here in a heartbeat. Something like that, just whatever.
yeah, just get people
I
out.
think that meet and greets are smart, a town appreciation, a public appreciation day. We've got a giant parking lot down the road
Mhm.
that we can use. We have the field, if it's ever got giant over there, and I know we can use Field of Dreams.
Right.
And if he says no to me, I will go personally down to Gloucester and kick him in the. Yeah.
We are live.
He knows.
He
knows. That's right. We're live now. You whistled, but I didn't say it.
Didn't say who.
No, I just think good, bad, or indifferent.
I really
There's a way
think
to
that
engage
we
people,
should
but right
figure
now,
out, so
that's
we
what
should
it's all about.
probably, as soon as I get information back about a town Facebook page, because obviously being a subcommittee of the town, we have to make sure
Yes.
that we're following their rules. Maybe we get a town page and we get a sub page for the EDC or something like that. Rec already has their own, so they'd
Yeah.
already done that in part of their bylaws before this all became an issue. So I think that might be the option, but I like the idea of, barbecue, coffee and donuts,
Yeah.
come, we want to hear your opinions,
Tough.
You offer free food, you never know who's gonna show up.
Very true.
Normal food.
What is, Weaver's does the pig roast.
There's a couple local, but chicken barbecue is so easy.
Chicken barbecue.
Pig roast might be.
And people like that around here. The Snowmobile Club, they do well with it.
Yep.
There's a lot of places, but I just think an appreciation, we want your opinion appreciation would
Yeah.
go even further.
Yeah,
Survey before food.
Yeah, in order to get your chicken, you gotta give us your survey.
yeah.
It's like money,
Yeah.
right? Your opinion's valuable, here's some chicken.
And so funny that you asked about an opinion, we actually
greatest
approved the
tagline
form, for the selectmen, it's not a complaint form, it's
Valuable.
your ideas and
I've always asked for an idea box here.
So we have this form now that we're gonna get out, and it basically asks for your ideas, your concerns, how can we make this better, what do you wanna see? We've already kind of have the form in place, it's not specifically towards the comprehensive plan. But we're trying to get away from we still have a complaint form, but we're trying to get away from the negative part of it, and it's like, because a lot of people don't wanna file a complaint because they don't want their name in writing. But if they give you an idea, they're like, they want to be proud of their idea or their concern or what they could see that would be better. What can we do to, do we need to put in a town swimming pool or something, what do you want to see? Not that I'm saying we need a town swimming pool, but things like that. What would you like to see in the community? Would you like to see more parks, more trails, more, of course, we have plenty of trails, but what would you like to see? Would you want us to work towards
Town swimming pool.
town swimming pool?
Is there a public restroom at Field of Dreams that's functional?
They have portable potties there now. I think yeah.
Yeah.
Do we?
I don't know if the actual building is.
We don't have a contact us on the website, like a little thing where you can click. and
It's
we can-
not capable yet.
But we're working on
We're
that.
working on that. We're
That's-
working on the,
I mean, just to contact us and
Yep.
encourage people to hit that. I mean,
Yep.
If you have something like that.
Yep.
In real estate, that's what we use.
Yep.
I mean, at the college, we always used it.
Yep.
I mean, there was AI, you can have a little person, but we don't need to get into.
No.
but
We're looking
I'm
at,
just saying the
there's a
contact
couple
us
of things that
button
we've
is wonderful.
taken back to the
Just to
website
be-
designers that we would like to see. Contact us, even if it's just for more information, click here, and it pops up an automatic email that it can be sent to a group
Or leave a comment.
or leave a comment.
question.
That's
Yeah,
where your suggestion box should be.
on the website.
Absolutely should be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't remember seeing it, but I know even back in the day when we used to come here to get a hunting license I'm dating myself. So that was like late nineties, we were still doing that.
Mhm.
You have to come here and get them.
Mhm.
But I'm like, you guys don't have a little like suggestion box here.
Mhm.
What do you want to suggest? That's, okay, you have to just do it in person.
Right, and I
Suggest a
think
lot,
that's
yeah.
like more people are more apt to elaborate their concerns, their ideas, if they don't have to do it to one person, especially if that
And
person is not, yeah, it does, it really does help, so,
And you're intimidating.
I'm sorry.
Right now, people leave their suggestions.
Actually, I think it's just the
and whatever
reverse. I've
else.
heard that the prior administration was very negative towards people coming into the office. I hear that it's different now. I don't know, I mean, I can have days that I'm not so nice, but when you come in, just kidding.
Stop eating all the good donuts, leave some chocolate on.
That wasn't
Guys
me,
eat
that was,
crappy
that
donuts.
was, someone
Nobody
gave us
likes the
donuts because we
jelly
did a
donuts.
wedding for them, and he came in and
Nobody
all he
likes
had left was the crusty ones that nobody liked. But we could ask to put up an EDC suggestion box in the town office for one thing. We could ask to put them around town, just drop us a note kind of thing.
So Jake's gonna work on something.
Yes, the research portion of the TIF funds, the application and the new regulatory guidelines that they issue, which I think are statute from what I can tell. Okay.
Yeah.
So, once you give me the information, I'll
Yep.
punch that out and I'll just
I
follow
told
up,
you he was gonna be good.
so.
Yeah.
You got him.
Yeah, the emails aren't going to spam anymore, so I can actually see.
They're getting full.
I have like it's our software that we use.
Yeah.
I mean, but you guys had me as Jay Saltalamacchia instead of Jay Salty.
And then I fixed that, and then
Right.
it still
And
didn't
then
go
like
to
my
you.
spam,
Then
and then I just said accept, and now they're coming in, but I
Now they're
had to
That's how I did
say
too.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's what was your problem. I'm like, I actually sent him to his state of Maine address. I'm
Yeah,
like,
I was
hey,
like,
are
why
you
is you the
even
email?
getting my emails?
No, but I'll take care of that. I'll report back here once I have more, and I'll of course give her information. So.
Yep. Yep, so tomorrow when I'm in, I won't be in much tomorrow, but I will try to start getting the contact information.
Okay.
Cool.
Cool.
Pull together a copy of everything that we have, and maybe we can collaborate on what you have, and what I have.
Once you need meet and greets and things, I mean, those are a lot easier.
Mhm.
Time wise, you need a day or whatever, an afternoon, a few hours, I mean, I can do that.
Yep.
Those are easy, and if you need a volunteer to cook something, I can do stuff like that, I just need to know ahead and put it on the calendar. I'm a month plus out right now.
Yeah.
I'm into end of July right now.
Cool. Will you wear the hat?
Huh?
Will you wear the hat?
The dunce hat?
No, the shop.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
It photos really well. Thank you. Okay. Excellent.
Where, Joe?
That's right.
If you do the Al Bundy, I'll buy all the food.
I'd hold them to that one.
You don't want that.
No, you don't.
You don't want that.
Hmm.
All right. are we moving past this?
We are Tanjake. We're going to Tanjake. See, look, you know. I want to look at what our new events are, because
Mhm.
we've got a whole lot of conversation we've had before, what we want to promote. So there's something here that we have to look at when we're talking about tourism office. We don't have it. We're not talking about that stuff.
Right.
We have to.
Yes, I agree.
Beyond huge.
We have a
So-
beautiful 2,800 acre watershed lake,
Mhm.
everything, paddling. Fishing is phenomenal in that lake. I know
Mhm.
nobody's eating them anymore, but fishing is phenomenal in that lake. There's excellent bass fishing. We used to have 2-3 times a year, there was bass tournaments. I don't know if they're still active doing tournaments on the lake.
I've seen a
But
couple
it's a
of them.
very popular lake for paddlers.
I don't know how, when it's advertised and stuff, but I have
We
heard
still have
from
beautiful
people
piece
that
of
have rented
property,
the lake
it's
and
not
stuff, that
ours,
they do
but we
come.
have that beautiful piece of property right next to the lake that I still think that we need, and I can head up any negotiation you want, because I'm on a first name basis with that person, and I have a great relationship with the college. I worked there for almost 20 years, I graduated from the school. We need to be able to utilize that.
Mhm. Without having to jump through so much red tape.
Yes, talk to them and everything, but it shouldn't be crazy. That's how a relationship should work, and I would love to work on that.
Mhm.
Because if we can get that facility and utilize that even a couple times a year, I think that it presents tremendous opportunity. The parking lot's good
Crazy that
size.
we're not.
It's the most
Yeah.
beautiful park.
It's a great little park.
I mean,
It is.
beats the crap out of Belfast Park.
They have more walking opportunity because they're linear thing that goes along the Passy and then across the bridge and whatever into town. I mean, whatever. And they have a more vibrant business district. We don't really have that
Yeah.
here, but we've got a gorgeous lake with opportunity for other things. So
There's in Lee, New Hampshire, there's an old farm that didn't go defunct so much as they just shifted from farming to, they took up most of their property as a sculpture garden.
Kind of like the botanical gardens are.
Yeah,
in
it's
some
just
sort
a
of manner.
massive meandering,
Mhm.
and at a much smaller scale.
Yeah,
It crossed my mind that that would be a really cool place to maybe work with Lofka to have some landscaping changes and permaculture plantings and things like that amongst sculptures and little nooks and benches, and there could be so much more in that.
yeah,
Right now, it's just sort of an open space.
open space.
Yeah, the gardens is a huge draw. Everybody wants to.
Yeah, that farm gets a lot. I mean, there are a
Business.
lot of people every day in the summer.
And again, one of the biggest things we have here that we already got, we've got an organization that brings 60 to 70 plus thousand people to this town for 3-4 days a year. And we've never taken advantage, in my opinion. Businesses should be putting things on, there should be stuff everywhere.
This year's the first year that I've seen
We have
several of them doing it.
Barber does organic haircuts, he's one of the smartest people around here. He
Yeah.
doubles his price and he doesn't use any plastic, it's metal,
Mm-hmm.
it's wooden combs, and he charges 40 instead of 20.
Mhm.
Organic, and people pay for organic haircuts. Smart guy.
Beautiful.
Who else is, what else, hey, if somebody wants to pay him a double to do an organic haircut and not let plastic touch their body, good for them, or chemicals. He puts water in a glass bottle and he's good for Gary.
Yeah.
But what else could this town do?
Exceeds mine.
What else could we do? We got businesses all through here. Whoa.
Well, Carrie and I are talking, maybe we weren't open last year. We missed it, so.
Right.
Sorry.
What could you do this year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna do it temporary, so we will do it temporary.
Stone Tree does, they're
Yeah.
taking advantage now, and they got a ton of people stopping in and stopping over.
Yeah. They
again,
put up a concert series for that whole
I
weekend.
know we gave money last year to the ELC to do something, I don't think they really pulled it off, but
They did do a couple of things.
Yeah.
I don't know what
if
ended
we
up.
could just get a bunch of food trucks. I know people go to that for food, but now as you're leaving, if you did fireworks on this lake, I'm telling you, people would stay.
Yeah.
And you did fireworks and food trucks,
Yeah.
people would stay.
What's
need to
the-
build
Fireworks are a
something-
big draw.
You need to build something bigger than like the ELC with their music and JK
Yeah.
with yours.
Well, I think you need
after
to
a
go
little
the
bit,
All Road
the
Music
fans-
Festival way.
Yeah, our problem
Promotion company that
becomes,
does this in Belfast, and they crush it. If you do that All Road Music Festival the weekend of the
how big is
Underground
that
Fair,
field?
There wasn't much, yeah.
people are gonna stick around. They're
How
not
big
just
is
gonna
that
go.
Fair,
Really?
fair.
It wasn't?
Until something can be promoted. as a
Used to-
track.
I thought they were.
I don't know how many food trucks you want in one place. but-
Plus there's some event stuff.
No, I think-
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, maybe I missed, but like inside the walking.
But I think
space there.
a big struggle for the common ground fair is there's no.
Yeah, they had food facilities. Well, last time I went,
There's not a lot
like,
of-
It's like half the
hotels.
fair.
There's no-
it's half the fare is food.
Who is that?
Shitload of dorms.
What's that?
Who is that?
I don't know, I don't know, maybe.
Or.
You recognize that name?
Allow for, I guess,
No,
that's like
not
a field
at
of
all.
dreams.
You know the field on
I don't
Depot
know.
Street, it's
Except
between Depot and
Go to the fair 2
220?
days in a row, take the train.
That's that field.
Watch the fireworks.
Think of what you could do out in the middle of that thing. Who is that?
It might be someone that just bought it too.
It's they're out of Pennsylvania, that's their tax
I
address.
saw a whole bunch of places.
That's not the people that are doing the,
I guess I didn't see them.
It's rather simple.
are they?
Oh,
It's just a
really?
huge food court.
Out behind the
Okay.
depot?
That's Highball Holdings, and no, that was saying that, that has got to be them. That field, I think they got stuff in the field though. When you're standing on Depot behind the train station and you're looking out back, that big field to the left. I'm just thinking like, because you can't close off, here's the thing with Unity, it's not walkable where there's parking and things like that. It's not a walkable town because we've got Route 9 going through, 220 on the other side, 139 here. So you can't close roads off, whatever. But the one we could close off is Depot. You could close Depot off, right?
It just wraps around.
Because they just did it last week, they closed the main drag and had tour people
Yep.
going through.
Yep.
So if we could close Depot for a night and have a giant block party over that way,
It would have to happen after the train
We tried that.
gets their, everybody back from the
We had,
fair.
we had,
because
Yeah.
that's
I
one of
think
the-
last year. we
They
had
park there.
300
Yeah.
plus people come to our event, and we didn't even advertise it, just because we're there.
no. You can go out the
I
other
don't
way.
remember that.
Yeah,
West
you're right.
side.
Yeah, they're different.
It's just, we don't have a walkable town, we don't have a place to do a big block party. So, you know, you gotta, we have to have a place for people to park, you have to have all of that stuff. We've got great fields and things that we
Big
can put
stage in the
people,
back, like,
as long as it's not September
Bring
rain.
2 food trucks. It's just-
There's gotta be a way to do something to take advantage.
You barely have spots to park.
Yeah, I do
You
think
know,
it
it's
would
like
have
a
to
party.
be something big like fireworks, because a lot of times, yeah, people generally see us there. And after a long day at the fair, most
You
people
read up and
are-
wanna go back and nurse your wounds and
Yeah,
sleep.
most people are just running home.
Yeah.
So
So,
we're gonna fix that.
yeah.
Well, you don't need to,
Something-
you don't need to capture even 10,000, 5 would be phenomenal.
And you know, a lot of people that live here don't necessarily take advantage of going to the fair because of all the people, so that
Get our
having something in
groceries
the
3 days
evening,
ahead.
we might be the ones that would go to a fireworks or a food truck or, you know,
And
music or
Talking
something.
with V and some other business owners, the benefit for the businesses here in Unity is negligible for the fair, because none of our locals come out, because the town is swamped all weekend,
Mhm.
and very few
Very
of the
few
people
of the
going to
people
the
stay.
fair, they're gonna get out of that line to go explore this, explore that.
Yeah.
So you gotta catch them on the way out, or create a way for them to stay in Unity, allow tenting at the Field of Dreams, like, have the
That's not
fireworks.
happening.
No?
No,
Mhm.
Well, I think
That would be a
there's probably
fight.
enough camping
we know
available
enough.
Yeah.
in the area.
Right, the Alumni
Like down-
Association allows them to camp up in
Town
the
Farm Road,
field.
There's a few farms.
Yeah.
Tony opened up his field for the
Yeah.
alumni that wanted to come and camp for campers,
People are
tents and
parking and
stuff.
whatever. He gets what?
I don't-
50?
I don't
At
know what,
most.
I don't know, they pay the Alumni Association to camp there, and that helps the, you know, this is the Unity College Alumni Association, not the university, but
Not having lodging hurts a little bit.
hurts, yeah.
I
Oh,
can't
I mean,
remember the name of the man that lives right on Town Farm and Mussy Brook.
yeah, he opens up his place to
Yeah.
camping
Yeah,
as
he's
His
just-
well,
numbers
Yeah.
have been down
Yeah.
since COVID.
yeah.
Westbrook,
He's got Westbrook.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of acreage for camping,
he
and
does.
he doesn't fill up. anymore.
Yeah.
And he's right there. I mean, it's that's like
Yeah, you can walk
12
right up the
minute
road.
slow walk.
Yeah, it's nice to live there.
If it was easier for
Oh,
them
yeah.
to stay the weekend of the Common Ground Fair in Unity, they would probably go to it multiple
Well,
days
and
and
that
get to
was-
experience.
There's a lot of people that
town.
go all, every day.
And that was the biggest thing when Common Ground was on the same weekend as Parents Weekend. The biggest problem was lodging. There was, parents had to stay Waterville, Bangor, and they were full.
If they were
full.
lucky.
If they were lucky, it was further
We had
away.
staying in Brunswick and Portland.
Some
Drive
had
out.
to, yeah. So, I mean,
Wow.
because of the
Wow.
draw, because they always did Parents Weekend, the same weekend as Common Ground, Homecoming, all that stuff. So there was a lot of people here, but not lodging here. So they were spread all over the place. So finding a way to create a way for lodging would be,
What's the gripe about the tent sites at the Field of Dreams?
That's a college thing.
it's a college thing. They won't allow it.
It's
Liability
a
issue.
liability issue.
Okay.
Yeah.
The train just goes
I know.
right by it. Oh my gosh, that'd be perfect.
I know. Drop them right off. the
Yeah,
field.
Liabilities, big, insurance would be big on anything you do.
Mhm.
We need the town to
You
get
could do a
that.
big giveaway on something like that and insure it, When years ago, I'm gonna tell you, it was 03, 04, the college wanted ideas for something big that would put them on the map nationally. And so they were taking ideas for everybody, and I said, let's do a fishing tournament, and everybody laughed at me. But we made the cover of Newsweek magazine, Fishing for Tuition, the first year. And took advantage of the lake, and I came up with the idea of a human-powered, only, no motors, human-powered, so canoes, kayaks, rowboats, whatever, and then we just kept expanding, and the last year I ran it, we had probably 800 people total on campus.
Wow.
It was bigger than graduation,
Mhm.
and that's a big deal.
Wow.
So, there's things that we can do. We can come up with something. I'm not saying you do a fishing tournament like that.
Mhm.
You could, but the rules for the state of Maine, you can't give away $1 million fish. They don't allow it because it'll just put too much pressure on the fishery. But you can give away tuition. So,
If you have
To
a
online
college.
college.
Tuition of what?
don't say that, you never know.
You never know.
You never know what might be happening.
No, we know.
Moving
You don't
moving
know.
to a new idea possibly.
Mhm.
In California wine region, they have a little, basically it's like a farm bike tour. So different farms offering different little snacks to the cyclists as they ride by.
Mhm.
You could do, I think it was like a 20, a 50, and 100 or whatever.
Mhm.
And I don't really know the map that well in this area, but we could probably put together a pretty easy, 5, 15, and, 50-mile ride or something.
Mhm.
with
We used to
farms.
have a 5K.
Mhm.
The college put on a 5K every year. There's no
Yep.
reason why we can't do.
Yeah,
you know,
work-
5K
working
race in
the
town.
trails.
Yep.
With some mountain bike possibilities. Um,
Ours could easily be a very scenic 5K with Muzzy, or not Muzzy, Canopolis.
Didn't we used to do, when we did it up Quaker Hill and brought around, didn't we go around the loop to
Started
end up
up
by
on
the,
the loop, came down the hill, all the
It
way
was-
down, turned around on Depot and back.
there was one we did on Fair Weekend that we did it from the college all the way to the fairgrounds.
The fair, Common Ground puts that on.
Oh, they
still
do,
put
they
it on.
put that on, okay, I
But-
misunderstood
I
that.
mean, there's those things. Yeah, there's ways to do things. Our problem is gonna be lodging and things. Where's the closest lodging? Belfast and Waterville.
Mhm.
And what's their lodging in Belfast? Comfort Inn.
No, Belfast's got a bunch of places to lodging, 2 or 3.
At least, yeah,
Yeah,
Firefighters,
firefighters.
Right off of Route 3, there's a couple.
or 3, yeah, and if you head out towards Lincolnville and stuff, there's a lot
Waterville's
of
got
them.
2 or 3.
Right on the ocean, of course, though, but.
So,
a lot
but
of
that's
budget.
part of our problem is when people wanna stay. We don't even have a lot of Airbnbs, even on the lake. We don't.
Yeah.
Half a dozen. Most of the people rent theirs out and don't even have to advertise because they got old-time people that just
Yeah.
keep coming every year, word of mouth.
And Jeremy told me his, for the college codes just dried up. That's why he just shut it down. Jeremy Irwin's, the Airbnb.
Oh, yeah, over
Yeah.
here. Yeah.
There's no one left.
Sounds like Unity needs the Unity Inn and Restaurant.
It's been talked about.
Yeah.
Maybe right across the street and talk to people this close street.
Funny that you should say that.
If we had a need. Yeah.
Chris,
it's been talked
Chris, was
about.
it you that brought up last meeting, like the, like a condo complex by the lake? Is this something that you were talking about? Do I remember remembering correctly? Or cottage
It was probably,
complex?
it was probably a conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good idea, like those,
Well, we had somebody try to
those
put
cottages
cabins
out on
down there and that
Searsport.
didn't work.
Yeah.
You
Did
know,
not fly.
Route 1 to Searsport.
I think he wanted to put a half a dozen cabins down there.
What
On
was
his
the,
land?
what was the downside?
And was it,
It's
it was either,
zoning.
it was either zoning and or wastewater. like something
Wastewater,
like
it
that.
was too much. It wouldn't fly as far as like
So
qualifying it.
I think
for
we
the
got some
watershed.
ideas. I mean, it's just about picking one and doing it well
Mhm.
and figuring out how to do it. Fireworks will cost you a lot of money to get a good show.
Yeah.
It'll cost you 20,
Um,
30 grand for a good show. Yeah. Actually, you know what?
The ones we did in St.
Drone
Albans.
shows.
The what?
Blow up the drones?
No, no. The new, so you think, I don't know if you guys have seen,
Oh, yeah.
in place of fireworks, because it's less, less invasive, to the wildlife, they do these drone shows now, where the drones all move up in the air, and they form like pictures and stuff in the air. I was like,
Yeah, I've seen those.
holy crap, like, they're really cool. Where I'm from in New York, they have a massive festival. It used to be hundreds of thousands of people would come. I think they'd have 1 million in 3 days. I mean, huge. Harbor Fest, Oswego, New York. You can look it up. It's right down Lake Ontario.
Go fishing next.
And people, yeah, their fishery is insane compared to this. So, but they had Grucci Brothers come in who do the fireworks for New York City, for Statue of Liberty, big stuff. They would, it was sponsored by the nuclear power plant and the big businesses, so it was no big deal. But they would spend a lot of money. And literally, all the main arteries coming in to Oswego, you think Mafka and Common Ground is busy? Lines all the way to Waterville, but on every route, all the way to Augusta, all the way to Bangor, all the way to Belfast. Every route coming in is bumper to bumper to get to that town for 3 days. Great bands, everything. We don't need anything on that scale, but, I think you said fire, you don't think they're expensive.
Well, we used to put the show, I used to be on the board for Summerfest in St. Albans, and we do it over the lake over there. And I think the last contract, because we do mid-Maine, Eastern Maine pyrotechnics.
Mhm.
But the last show, 15 to 20 minutes long with a finale was like $8,000.
Yeah, but that was how long ago?
That was 2 years ago.
Mhm.
And that was after the tariff scare and all that stuff.
Right.
I mean, I could reach out to.
Something like that, I think if you had.
And they have a
food trucks and
barge.
Fireworks,
They
and
do
we could get Field of Dreams.
if we have a launch place, they have a barge, so they can actually launch from the lake,
Yeah.
so that
And do it
people
right out
on
on
the
the lake.
lake would see them, but you also could see them like from Canonicus Beach,
Field of
from the
Dreams.
Field of Dreams, they
Which
could
is all
watch them,
walkable.
all walkable.
Just, we have the
So,
one field for parking possibly.
right, but we are working on we actually are working on an amended deed now with Fordyce to utilize the field, the unused portion for the cemetery for occasional parking and summer projects like that. Not a constant project, but if we have a specified date for a specified event, use that for parking. So that's huge, because that space is a
Yeah.
huge space. Once
If you
it
had
stops
state
raining.
police and they allowed parking along Route 9 on the edge, because it's a wide shoulder.
Yep.
You can park there if you have the state police, which you'd need them.
Yep.
I think food trucks and fireworks would attract people if you had it one night and then had a rain event, rain date for the next night or something. For Friday night, but rain date is Saturday night.
So the fair
did
runs
something
what,
like that, I think you
Thursday,
could
Friday,
get
Saturday, Sunday?
Some
Or is it
people to come
Friday, Saturday,
Sunday.
So probably the best option would be Friday night fireworks and then a Saturday night rain date, so we'd have them on the same weekend.
It is also fair season.
Mhm.
Where I come from in New York, that's how the firemen make their money is they have literal county by county, town by town firemen's field dates all summer long. So it's your town has it, for Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, then the next town gets it their Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and they schedule them. Right now, Freiburg and Cumberland are fighting over Freiburg moved their dates, so they're fighting downstate, but if you could get, other towns to buy in and now we're all sharing, like Smokies Greater shows, you have rides, you have your beer tents, and your sheriff's department comes and they're there. I mean, that's something that, you're talking a few thousand people a night, so if you had a couple nights worth, it could even be a fundraiser for the fire department. But we call them Fireman's Field Days in New York State. Oswego County, and they're great. And they have bands, they have all kinds of things. And we've got a great venue down there, and also potentially, again, if we could get this. So,
Well, the majority of people I know are still out of state, and I'll tell you what I get asked the most is, when I come up, can I ride?
yeah,
Can I camp?
yeah.
Yeah.
Can I fish? Unfortunately, the third one's the only one I can say, oh, that fishing's really good.
The riding's good not far from here.
But that's what I mean. These guys are, I've been to towns in Vermont, New Hampshire, Southern Maine, that they're ATV towns because they're on.
Oh, yeah.
They link up to the
Newport.
ITS at some point.
Mhm.
And it is
Yeah.
just phenomenal.
If we could link easily to Newport and have a trail from here to Newport, that would be huge.
It's another one. And
Doreen Berry would be our, she and Mike are
Yeah.
hardcore into that, and they know.
and campsites off the trails will be
Tony
very
seems to
well.
be into it a little bit too, like
Yeah.
he knows he's in the.
Or, I mean, have you ever been to Baxter State Park? The Daisy Pond Campground, the Kinney Pond Campground, something like that along the lake. I mean, that's tough.
It's not remote enough.
Well, but it's something. It's a cottage around the lake. It's not.
Find a damn spot to do it. There's nothing left.
The campground in the last EDC group a couple
Mhm.
of years ago.
Yeah.
And I forget what the limitations were, something about waste runoff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be your
The land
biggest
was
thing if you were
polluted or
near the
something.
water or
And that's the
whatever.
flood zone down there too.
Yeah, so I don't know if anything would have changed.
South end, southeast, that whole area is all flood zone. So,
But even having a campground off the water that has access, because we have the great access at Canopolis and we're
It's
doing all that
preferable
work.
because then you're going from A to B
Yeah,
multiple times.
Yeah.
rather than-
Yeah. definitely.
you don't get, it's not, this isn't a lake that you get, you get the occasional wave runner and whatever, you don't get a lot of them. Pontoon boats, oh yeah, there's definitely wave runners
I
out
believe
there.
it is, but
But
That's
pontoon
okay.
boats are probably the biggest traffic during the summer.
Mhm.
And the locals all get together and we see people out there, family and friends, sometimes 2, 3 of them together. But, I mean, it's not that and fishing, probably the two biggest things on that lake and is fishermen and then the pontoon boats that are owned by the people in the camps on the lake.
So question, with the ATV group that we have, do they use the Hills to Sea trails?
No.
They're totally
Those are,
different, right?
the hills to
Because
seas
Hills to
are
Sea
all
is foot
walking.
power only, and I don't even know if they did, no bikes for sure. And I
Yeah.
don't even know if they allow dogs on the darn trail,
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's a whole different,
but no motor vehicles. It's,
I was gonna
it's
say
so
that.
narrow, I mean, you can barely walk in some
Yeah.
places, yeah.
Okay.
You're going across wetlands, everything. Yeah. Nice trail, great hiking,
Mhm.
underutilized.
So, yeah, how do we elevate and get more visibility? That's been a discussion with EDC for a while.
For a long time.
Yeah. What stories can we create to call media? Like we talked about.
To make us a destination, at least once a year.
Yeah.
Would be great.
Mhm.
Come here, have a good time, spend some money, and leave. If
Something
we're a
that we-
residential,
Something that we can call.
if we are a residential town, right?
They come down.
That's what we want. Come here, spend
Yeah.
a little time,
That would
spend your
be-
money.
I honestly think that we
So
need to
we'll
bring
find
back
a
the
lot of-
Unity Festival.
Sure.
Even if it's just a 1-day or a 2-day thing, and then just get a group together that plans that Unity Festival basically for the locals, but hope that it will bring in more of the surrounding communities.
Yeah, just simple cameras on Unity.
Yeah,
Not that we're advertising anybody to come, but just that people start to see Unity in the news.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
like positive
Yeah.
things, like
I
festival
mean, since
days.
the college is gone, we're very rarely in the news. And
Yeah.
usually when we are, it's something not good.
no, the last couple times were not good.
part of the discussion.
Two crazy people in a fire.
with
Yeah.
the park cleanup and
What about
redoing
Terry?
was to have concerts,
Mhm.
you know, small.
I shouldn't say crazy.
Like a, you know,
Mental health
I don't know if
crisis.
we would ever build a mini stage there or anything.
I just went to Billy Currington the other night at Snow Pond,
Mhm.
and it's no bigger than Field Greens, I don't think. Maybe bigger parking. They might have bigger parking.
I mean,
than that, but
Triplet Park is
Oh,
what I was just.
too small.
No, not for a big event.
No,
Just
but
like for
again,
little
maybe
stuff,
starting out
summer
with like
concerts.
a summer concert series.
Yeah,
Dexter has a summer concert series. I think it's done by their rec department, but they have local bands, some a little bit more
Yeah,
popular
Triplet
than
Park is
others.
perfect for Unity people. Just
But
to like,
that's a
"Oh,
positive
it's Saturday,
spin."
Let's go down and.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
Have a food truck or an
Yeah.
ice cream vendor or
Something
something,
small, but a
something
regular-
small that's
regular
gonna
thing.
start
Here,
drawing
when
people
They get
in.
entertainment and food, they pack them in up here.
Oh, yeah.
I'm shocked to see how many people go.
Yeah, they're doing it.
They are, that's
Is
good.
that the winery?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Bands are pretty good. I've never been there, but up on Wayne, you can hear
You
them.
can hear,
Yeah,
Yeah, well,
I'm
it's
3 doors
like-
down. I can hear it all night
Yeah.
long. Luckily, they close early.
So if Triplet Park had a summer series every summer,
Yeah.
you know, the elderly can stroll over.
Yeah.
that would be nice to, any
That was part of the larger discussion on Triplet Park.
Doing larger things at the racetrack.
Yeah,
yes.
Good place for a big concert.
the
You know,
racetrack.
supporting the racetrack to me it makes a lot of sense. I
It's,
know there was a lot of people that didn't like the noise, but guess what? They brought a pile of people into town.
My dad
Edwards
Edwards School
boomed.
Street, he's like,
People
oh,
would go in and get beer and.
we're busy on race
I'm
days.
sure.
he can't sleep
No,
anywhere.
but I mean,
Friday nights.
Helping him in the winter.
Forget
I
it,
would love
yeah.
to see snowmobile races and stuff like that here in the winter, you know?
Who's running? I met him. I just forgot his name.
He runs a small equipment company too, I think.
Yeah.
I don't even know what I'm talking.
When they started that back up, they came for a few grants, and their initial plan was to have like weekly movie nights and stuff, family movie nights.
Yeah.
And I love that idea. I think that
You know,
would be
that's
really
something that the town actually could do at a very low cost. We acquired
slick. And that could be a
a,
Triplet Park.
yeah, we acquired a projector from surplus that we were going to talk with the rec department about doing some, like, you just put a sheet up and you have an outside, you know, movie
For more
night.
money,
Plenty of parking at that raceway for something.
Screens and
Yeah,
stuff.
exactly.
That might be a bridge too far.
Right, but that would be something to get started, like, you know, having these small things that we just kind of just plug a little bit of money into and just get the cameras on Unity saying, hey, look at this community grow through, you know, grassroots and getting their community involved. And then it's going to spur into, hey, maybe this is the place we want to go check out that lake, or let's go kayaking, or let's go fishing, or hey, they're having a bass tournament. Oh, wait, they have the pottery place, and just start dominoing and getting the community. We need to get the community here involved in what needs to happen and just start growing it that way, I think.
That racetrack is
So how
such a
about-
better ice oval than the one on the lake. They only get to use that one once a year, once or twice a year, and then the conditions are crap.
I said, I forgot the other thing I met him once, but I'll just go to my depot and ask Rose because she knows everybody.
And she's been there forever, so.
But if you want, since I'm across the street from him, I'll reach out to him. Say, yeah. See if he wants to sit down and start talking.
Yeah.
Everybody
See
likes
what
that
they
idea.
may have planned.
Yeah,
I
what
mean,
we
they
have
already
planned, What
have,
can we do to help? Is it-
Yeah.
Let's see if we get coordination and some ideas.
I think collaboration with the different businesses and such has got to start to happen. And, you know, I know that like the winery does their own thing on Common Ground Weekend and different things, but just having maybe the EDC work with like getting their information all together in one spot for them. So that helps draw people to, you know, the events and stuff on Common Ground where, you know, not like, oh, this person's got this and this has got that. But if they go to the Town of Unity's Facebook page and say, oh, look at this link, look at all the stuff that we could do while we're there, and they plan ahead and so on and so forth.
The All Roads Music Festival in Belfast does such a great job with this, and they use a promoting agency.
Mhm.
And it's right on the bottom of their website, and they just do a phenomenal job. They plan the venues and the artists and where they're going to be and what times, and it's just all on one sheet of paper.
Mhm.
So, not a whole bunch of things going on in different places. It's like one bigger event.
Well, I'll track him down and talk to him.
Cause there's
You
definitely
didn't like my
parking.
last idea.
There is definitely parking at the racetrack for sure.
Oh, yeah.
And you've got the field across
Someone
that,
proposed
you've
a
got
fence,
Max,
I
I'm
could
sure
watch
Brian would be fine with allowing parking there. He had in the past when the racetrack was running full-time and that field next to it.
Launches
for
for
parking.
race
So-
drivers.
Ideally, trying to coordinate something down this end of town might be a better option, you know?
You have good shoulders, both sides, walkability,
Mhm.
both sides.
I think exploring fireworks and the drone show, like, I don't know anything about
I
drone
think they
shows.
also did fireworks from the racetrack years ago.
Years ago, they did too, yeah,
Yeah.
they did.
Middle of the track. Just-
It wasn't just cars colliding.
No, they used to, you
I was-
contract the
Fourth of July, they
company,
used to do the
4th of
fireworks.
July, and
They
they
did
would
them
use the
last
center
year
of the
at the
track,
racetrack.
and that's where they would, you know, it'd be a
I just think
barrier,
over
and
the
that's where
way-
they'd shoot them off. And then people had, you could be in the stands, you could be standing downtown, you could see it all. The lake is a better atmosphere by using, and the company, the pyrotechnics company we use had a barge, we paid like $3,000. They come and they launch, they have a barge sitting right at a launch, and then they just have it all ready to go.
Where,
They go out and they just do it right over the,
where would the viewing space be from the?
most of the viewing space we had was people would take their boats out, you know, so you'd have a lot of people that would come early,
Early,
put their
put their boats
boats
in the
in,
water.
get in the water and go out and be out there.
Park at friends' houses on the lake. things like that.
Exactly, but you've got visibility at Canopolis.
Fireworks and food
Field of Dreams is huge, you know, the
It's a
space.
weather
I mean, and if you plan it correctly by the least, and even if we let the other towns that are on the lake know about it,
Mhm.
there'll be other people accessing the fireworks show from the other towns, like from Burnside, and is it Troy has a little bit, and I don't remember, there was one other town I thought had a little access to that. But it might be a way of, like, if we have a
Could work.
centralized viewing space, like the Field of Dreams, we could, while people are waiting for the fireworks, they show up for a couple of food trucks, music, something like that, just something small, like a festival, small festival. If you wanted to do it an all-day thing and not do it Common Ground weekend, you could plan
Summer.
like kids' games, like, you know, silly things like,
You
you
can still
know,
do summer. I'm not
Yeah.
committed to common ground, just saying, if there's that many people here, might work, but the weather thing.
I think it's the best way to get outreach, is common ground.
Maybe.
Most viewers we're gonna see all year, but
But even summer, if you did a fireworks and food trucks,
Mhm.
summertime, you know, even if you had, you know, whether they're down there, because I think from the field, if you did it strategically from the Field of Dreams, if you did it on the water, they'd be able to see them well.
yeah, you could strategically. So we have the fireworks company come and view the best
Mhm.
view, how they would get the best view, how high, it depends on how high they launch them
Yeah,
too, they
'cause
can
people still
coordinate
look
it
at
too.
Canopolis, you can line Canopolis,
Mhm.
people could be down through there pretty
Yeah.
easily, and then you have a ton of people that all have friends and whatever at their camps.
Mhm.
That could work.
But eventually, it wouldn't have to be one or the other, like Mafka or summer.
Right,
We-
it
we
could
should
do
be having
something,
Unity days.
we should
in the
have a
summer,
Unity Days in the summer
and then an
anyway,
event
something,
around,
yeah.
larger event around the
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. You know, something, I think that we need to start, you know, getting more community oriented events. I mean, right now I love that businesses are doing things like Stone Tree, but it would be nice to have something, a lot of people don't do wine. They just want to take their kids to the park. And if they can come down there and enjoy a festival and play a couple games with their kids. We used to do sack races and, you know, hammer throws and stuff like that at our field day. And, you know, it just kept families doing little things and stuff.
A lot of people don't have the money to go enjoy wine up there.
Right, exactly. And, you know, and they don't, or they may not have the money to pay the cover to go in to listen to a band, you know, so having something that's free entrance, you know, that kind of has, like, we could have the rec department doing something and different businesses could be sponsoring
I think
different,
we
like,
got some great
events.
ideas, it's just a matter of picking one and moving
Right.
forward. But I still think, I mean, food draws people,
Well, I don't.
and the food truck scene
pick
in
one.
this state is phenomenal, but I doubt you'll get something for this year, because these people are booked. The other night at Billy Currington, I'm gonna tell you, there were 10 food trucks there, 8 or 10. It was a lot, I couldn't believe the choice, I was blown away. Proper Pig has a food truck, phenomenal.
the new food truck
Yeah.
park in Belfast, at Wentworth
I was
Plaza.
blown away. Yeah. I'm like, you gotta be kidding. So we have a great food truck scene in this state, and especially this area. If you could get 8 or 10 food trucks and you had fireworks going on, whether it's there or there, whatever, I think you could get people with it. But then the little stuff, I think is great. Those are easy things, low hanging fruit, I think easier to pull off. This kind of idea is gonna take you a full year.
A full year to coordinate. Usually you're planning a year out.
And it's decide, do you want it in the summer to take advantage of good weather, which we have, after Black Fly season. But if you did it in July, even around 4th of July, there's, what else is there 4th of July?
The only thing
anymore?
is, there's one
Who-
town
what
that
towns still do
does,
stuff?
there's a town that does a parade on 4th of July.
I'd
Is
much
it
rather
Brooks?
sponsor an event somewhere that's a better
Because
place for an event
Oh,
than throwing it
yeah,
our
it's
place.
perfect,
It's,
yeah.
it's a headache for me to plan and.
I always
it's not a
thought
great venue.
having,
You make it work, but it's not the best venue.
instead
I
of
think if
doing
we
the
did
big
that, I think
Memorial
we
Day
could-
parade, is doing the parade with Unity Days or
Use
festival,
food
you know,
trucks
so that,
anymore.
you know, the
Fireworks and
Memorial
food
Day
trucks.
parade is more solemn and
No.
for
So that's why
that
I said earlier,
purpose,
we
and
gotta
then
do this.
big
We need to decide down.
fire
because we
engines
just
and the
said it twice a
noise
year.
and
So I'm gonna
floats
put
and
that out.
whatever.
I wanna say
You know, I mean, look at
funds
Pittsfield
out.
used to have the
Yeah,
egg
absolutely.
festival. They used to
Businesses,
do it a 3-day
people sell
event,
goods.
different town, you know, different things were coordinated by different
It's with
businesses.
enough energy, anything can take off.
Yeah.
Like Healthy Festival. That started as nothing and now it's huge. What else do they do then? There's a wiener dog festival the next week in Belfast.
Whoopie
That's
Pie
also
Fest- Whoopie
huge.
Pie Festival.
You know,
It started out small and
Yeah, now I'm a
It's
vendor at the
huge.
Whoopie Pie Festival,
it's
like
crazy.
18,000 people in one day.
Just to eat whoopie pies.
You just gotta pick one thing and get.
And they're not like even
It's
the
for
home
them.
of the whoopie pie or anything, and they
No,
just
they-
decided, we're gonna do something, and they filled their town. So why not, Unity? We'll do something different.
Pick something.
The state's great, it really is. There's almost too many things to do in the state, but really around here, you gotta travel.
Yeah.
This is a great, I mean, look at our draws, Bangor, south, Waterville to the east. I mean, Belfast people, they might snub us, but some of them don't wanna do their own things in Belfast, maybe they come here. I mean, we're in the middle of everything, Augusta, everybody. So I think we could do a draw with that.
There was some small town that they just, and I can't remember what it was, but they put up a large goofy sculpture in their town
Mm-hmm,
because they knew, it's like, well, let's just do something to get some eyes on us.
mm-hmm.
And they got tons of press, and
Mhm.
people would go there to get
Just to
a,
see
to
the
ride
sculpture.
this, it was a banana or something, I can't remember what it was, but they
I
got
used to ride the bus.
press, and people would go
Oh, I thought
there.
you meant Goofy. No, like fake
No,
Disney.
Disney
No.
movie.
I mean, we got some great ideas, it's a start.
I think that whatever directions that we go in, we got a lot. When we're gonna execute something, we should spend the money on a marketing firm to generate.
Maybe.
These guys, huh?
You know, shooting from the hip when you're going through all this is not good.
I mean, that's when you take advantage of the lake and you go, hey, Central Maine Bass or Bass Fishermen, why don't you guys do a tournament the same day as we do this?
Yeah,
Now your fishermen at the end of the day can
we did a
stay and
fishing derby.
whatever. Hey, Lee, can you do pizza in the parking lot? Can you do, whatever? You just gotta get buy-in. And as it grows, you'll get everybody, you have a race the same night.
Mhm.
Everything happens around this one event.
Right, and that's the thing, is getting everybody
Let's look at
involved,
that
like and coordinating a schedule, day of events, a little booklet
Mhm.
that gives everything that's going on around town.
Yep.
So that it's a flow, so people are here from 7, 8 o'clock in the morning until 9, 10 o'clock at night, one day. And there's stuff to do, there's food, there's activities, there's events, trying to coordinate different things. I know
Stone Tree
that.
has a good band that night.
Yeah, and that, and then, you get the, the fireworks and they wait, 9 o'clock at night. I know that we had the librarian, or we have a local author come and read, have a little section, have a reading, the kids would gather around like a little hay bale thing and
Daytime stuff for kids would be great. But
Yeah,
I said,
little
you start with
activities.
something and then it just.
kind of expand it out. Yeah, so it might
Don't
start
go too big, too
small the
fast.
first year
Don't
and
be
then grow it
Icarus.
out but I think the concert series
Icarus?
idea would definitely be something that would draw all ages.
That's just Latin.
Yeah.
I don't know any Latin, but I thought,
I think it was,
His father
feathers
fashioned him
flew too
wings
close to the sun,
made of
that's it, melted the wax.
melted the wax
Mm-hmm.
on his wings and crashed it.
If you fly too low, you get wet.
He just went too big.
But marketing, yeah, that's something.
That's-
So do you want to
That's
get
what
us
everybody
some
says, don't make
information
your own
on that
wings.
marketing firm that you were
Yeah,
talking about?
absolutely.
And maybe look for some other things and see
Absolutely.
what the
Where that's
Our
great.
Our town Belfast hires this marketing firm to do the All Roads Music Festival for them. They have their own Instagram page now, the All Roads does, it has 3,000 followers on it, and the town is stacked.
Mhm.
I don't know when the best weekend to do it would
All
be,
roads is pretty good.
probably the Common Ground Fair weekend,
Mhm.
you know, for more exposure, but, it could start that weekend and then move to a different weekend. Once people hear about it, but
Yeah, I
Bad
agree.
thing about
They-
Common Ground is too many years I've seen downpour. September's rain season.
That's the
If you grow
hardest
outdoors,
thing.
you know, September's rain
not
season.
anymore, remember that.
No, because farmers,
Take the light
corn, anything, I've seen whole cornfields leveled September with a bad, late season hurricane or
Wow.
something else. So September's rain season here.
It's a crapshoot trying to get an outdoor event in September.
September, October is rain.
Did it rain one day last year?
It did rain last year for Common Ground, at least one, if not two. And the people was cold and wet. You have great summers, that's boating season. Maybe we try and go on our dam on without that, saying.
Ice Festival.
They also have a phenomenal facility, so, don't overlook them as a possibility. Park there and use the train to bring them back. For a change, we use them for parking. Yeah, not parking here and driving there, it goes the opposite.
Yeah, let's spend it.
So, do we have enough on that topic?
I think we do. Thank you. Any other thoughts, comments? Otherwise, we can move to adjourn this. Joe's cooking. What's for dinner?
I already had, I made venison stew. I know stew is not a summer thing, but when you clean out the freezer, that's what I do this time of the year. Clean my freezer. Last week it was turkey legs, this week it's stew meat, it's whatever's left over.
I just went to
Trying
the
to make-
inventory
My
of
goal
what's
is to have it
left.
empty by beginning into September, so that I can start filling again.
That's cool.
I do not subscribe to that. There's no wrong time for stew.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Ask my wife, she was not happy. Said still.
My husband hates soup and stew any time of the year, so it's like when I get to make soup or stew, it's like, okay, I'm happy. It could be 100 degrees.
Would you give us one?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Thank you.
All in favor? Everybody says yay.
Just in case anybody missed it last time.
Either one works.
You're in 7, right?
Yes, yeah.
All right,
Did
so
you pave?
Paved and building a garage next week, so.
How did the paving work for you? Keep crap out of your house?